Hello, hello. Good morning, afternoon, evening, or night. We are back with another Ingersoll Lockwood drop. It's been a while, and we missed a few of them, unfortunately. But we do have another bunny today. So let's go through some of the changes because they've been actually updating this website pretty often with all the crazy stuff that's going on. I know that the one of them that I missed was basically about the impending banking crisis, but I believe that I had put one out about that as well. So they do make updates. But anyway, there was this post by them, which is making sure you can withdraw your cash from the bank one satellite at a time. And this is from the Space Force Recruiting Twitter, or X, depending on your tendencies, which people are not really getting too well accustomed to. But this would actually be a great thing because of what they're talking about right now, and that is the impending shutdown of the banks for anywhere from a week to a month. At least that's the best speculation by some of the people who are closest to these things. And honestly, there's so much going on right now that you really should be careful. And I think that's why that leads us to the next link that they give us, which is the National Credit Union Administration. I think they're kind of hinting at, hey, you might want to look into credit unions because they're a lot safer when it comes to your money. They're not as involved with all of these bigger organizations, and everything tend to be a little more freelance in that regard. And yeah, just easier to take your money out, really be safer with that. And then that's what leads us to the last bit here, which is our new drop, the Z's X 11724, Who Davos 033124. So this one fairly self-explanatory. Once again, we've got our friend the bunny rabbit being vigilant, suiting up in his armor. He's got half a sword here, which does go to show the state of decay of our nation and of our readiness, but still stalwart and ready to go, as we are, the American people, always vigilant. Even though we might get duped here and there, but we always set the record straight, isn't that right, my friends? Then we got this clock, our impending timepiece, a perpetual among all of the Ingersoll Lockwood drops. Of course, time is running out. It's something that we all know. Things should have been done a long time ago. But it's good that we've been patient because they would only take advantage of the chaos more than we would. That is for certain. Unless it was a swift, decisive strike to really end all of this ridiculousness going on, it would only further hinder us, as we've seen. So, in my opinion, I think the banking crisis is probably going to be their little feeler. They always like to do a little feeler and gauge the people of how they might best pull one over on them. I think we've seen that with COVID. They started up with the toilet paper, then it rolled into the baby formula, and then it was just like we were ripe. The public was ripe for them to do something at that point. And then we're finding out now with Project Warp Speed that I think this was just this week, could have even been just today. I know I was reading it today, but the DOD, it turns out that all this pressure now on the pharmaceutical companies, everything looking bad for them, now all of a sudden the pharmaceutical companies are pointing the finger at the Department of Defense. It seems like the Department of Defense was doing a lot like what the government was doing with Twitter and the social media companies. According to the pharmaceutical companies, the Department of Defense was the one who knew about all of these problems with the vaccine, and they told the pharmaceutical companies to push this through. So we'll see where that goes, but it's really good that we've got the bad guys pointing fingers at one another right now. So we know that we're doing our part. That's why we need to be vigilant, though, because they are scared. They're scared. You got people in the WEF and some of the globalists, or at least people who could potentially be a part of them, like the CEO of Chase. I forget the guy's name, but he just came out. He was letting them know, look, this is not how it's going to be. This is not good for the people of the world. What's going on? And there's just been more and more people speaking out. I mean, you've got Javier Milei of Argentina, the president of Argentina. That guy's great, you know. And his quote about that he came into power not to lead sheep, not to guide sheep, but to lead lions, to awaken lions. And that's the real gist of what's going on right now. We're patiently waiting for our time to decisively act, and that's what we need to do because... Anyway, let's get back to this. We've got, once again, our flood, as usual. Goes to show the biblical tone of what we're looking at. I did a scan prior. I didn't see any figures among us in the clouds. Not that I could see. And the white and black swan, I'm sure that there is a lot of symbolism going on there. I cannot grasp that fully. I'm not too well versed in what might be the significance of the black and white swans. Of course, we have our pathogen over here, which is, you know, to the disease X, WHO, Davos. This is all what they would love, ideally, is to release this, but I still don't understand the justification. Like, what do they think they're going to be living in a bunker? I think we've seen that with COVID. There are people who were staying in their houses and they were getting COVID and they were dying. So I don't know how these people think they're going to be safe from what I've been reading about disease X. This thing, you know, 100% kill rate in mice. So, I mean, 100% kill rate, I don't know. What are you going to be living in a ventilated room for the next, I don't know, 50 years? Anyway, apparently they have the vaccine for it. So I guess that's the whole idea, is like they'll have the vaccines for this shit and then just release it and kill everybody else. I don't know. But I don't think it's going to happen that way, to be quite honest. I don't think so. At least nature's always got its way of doing things. Maybe it would be 100% lethal, but then after a tiny bit, you know, people would start to be resilient to it. So anyway, we got our dude over here, this guy, lollygagging, about to jump into the planet of the pathogen, and the WHO, of course, the WHO. I believe this is the logo of the WHO, the World Health Organization, one of the biggest shams, which everything that's going on right now, I get into a lot of this stuff in my podcasts, which we'll have a link at the end of the video, but there's so much foreign infiltration into this country, and it's not how it used to be, where, you know, a lot of our enemies were ignorant to our way of life and how things have gotten to this point, how we've gotten so prosperous. Our enemies understand that this day and age, and they're taking full advantage of this. This was happening with the Middle Easterns and the Muslim organization. There's the CARE organization in New York, I believe it's based. And, you know, they do all of these things legally. They understand our system. If they want to create, you know, as the Russian KGB guy, I forget his name as well, but that guy talking about, you know, the slow undermining of the American people and our systems, and causing all of these slow rots of our system. That has been in place for a long time. But now what is also happening is that our institutions are basically being hijacked. And even our tax money. We've seen with COVID, we basically funded a lot of what's happening now. A lot of that money from COVID went directly into just enforcing all of this draconian measures and authoritarian style of you know, governance. So anyway, you gotta keep aware of that. And when it comes to information, to be quite honest, you really can't believe anything that you hear. You have to question all of the things that you hear, and you really have to be very astute and not come to any decisive conclusions with anything. Because even the things that you would love to believe, you might find out a day later, an hour later, a week later, that these things are not true. You know, there's so much that AI can do, especially with a human in conjunction. So, and then with the wrong intentions, without a doubt. And especially that advertising money is behind everything now. Like, as long as you're posting online, you could be making money off these things. So you have to be very careful about everything that you listen to, everything you watch. There's a great quote about that, but my memory is shot right now. So I'm not going to start quoting any more stuff that I can't fully recollect. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. And yeah, drop some insights, what you might be thinking about what's going on. And I will remind you to be positive, because we're going to get out of this crap. I promise you. Might be a little rough, shaky landing, but we're going to get out of this, promise you. Anyway, I'm going to try and stay tuned with the Ingersoll Lockwood drops. Be back for more. Thank you.